What does rock bottom feel like with these Philadelphia Phillies? I don't think it's a 4-game losing streak in May or being a game and a half back, but we are kind of pressing the panic button online, and we're kind of seeing this every time the Phillies drop a series. There's a little bit of a panic reaction online. If there's even just the slightest hole on this roster, we're ready to plug it every single day. But the good news is, we got some roster changes coming for this week. We had a tough week with the Phils last week, 2-5 overall on the week. We got a 6-game road trip coming up. They get swept by the Milwaukee Brewers at home, and they were lifeless. All the bad things that you hate to see, bulk homers, the 3-run homers, they scored in the first inning of every game of this series. The defense wasn't great. There was some momentum flipping errors in this one. Just overall, not good. But regardless, welcome back into the podcast. This is the Cherry Pinstripes podcast. I'm your host, Shelfy, also known as Dan when I'm at home. But the Phils, tough week. Got a big week coming up here, and it's going to be a big month for the team as well because they got a lot of road games here. You have a 6-game road trip starting right now. You got 6 at home and then another 10 on the road before the month ends, but they should be able to turn things right back around. You got a series with the Blue Jays, and then you're going to go play the Pirates before you come back home, a team that you've seen recently, so hopefully they can get back into their winning ways. Not many times I jump on the pod, and the Phillies are coming off of a horrendous week, but this is one of those weeks. Let's talk about the roster changes that we're excited about, and this is probably where we're going to spend most of the time of today's episode discussing things. We're going to have Mick Abel coming up and making his second start with the team. He's going to go into the rotation for Taijuan Walker, who's moving to the bullpen. We also had a bullpen swap over the weekend. Seth Johnson is coming up. We got him in a trade from the Orioles last year. He's going to be replacing Jose Ruiz in the bullpen. I was a little bit surprised to see Jose Ruiz go down before Christian Sanchez. Christopher Sanchez is not going anywhere. Christian Hernandez is who I expected to see go down. But Hernandez stays. Jose Ruiz goes down. Seth Johnson's coming up. Along with that, Aaron Nola is also going to be getting ready to make his rehab start down in the minors, so he should be ready in a week or so. We'll see how Mick Abel pitches. If he doesn't look great, has a dud start, most likely Nola just going to plug in for Mick Abel in a week or so. But I'm excited to see what Mick Abel can do. If he can just ride this hot hand, they might go to a 6-man rotation when Nola comes back. Because like we talked about this in last week's podcast, Mick Abel's been great all year. The blip insane MLB debut that he had 2 weeks ago was really just one of a bunch of great starts that he's had this season. His ERA is under 1 over the last month. He's been pitching phenomenal, and it's all of his pitches. He throws hard. You knew that the velo's always been there. He just kind of had a walk problem in the minor leagues, letting too many guys on base for free, and that will get you at the major league level. If the walks come back at the major league level, you will see that blow-up inning, and things could unravel. But right now, he looks great, and I'm really excited to see him continue to build off of what he's got and maybe go from being a dud prospect to a potential trade piece to maybe being a part of this current Phillies team where you can never have too much pitching. Now, the other spot of the roster, we haven't had any changes, but a lot of discussion on this extra outfielder. The fan base wants to see Justin Crawford. I do think you'll see him by the end of the year, especially if there's any sort of injury out there, but he still has a 65% ground ball rate. It's his first year at AAA. He's having a good year, but let's pump the brakes a little bit. The last thing, in my opinion, you want to see is Justin Crawford come up here, go 0 for 15, and then you send him right back down. That does nothing for him. And with how this lineup's currently constructed, you just don't need another lefty who's going to come up here right now. Let him do his thing down there. Brandon Marsh has been great since he came back from the injury. Would like to see more from Johan Rojas, but you're getting the defense there. This team, we kind of do this every time they lose a game or drop a series where we just act like the sky is falling. I have a hard time taking any of this seriously with Bryce Harper not in the lineup. I don't care how they look without Bryce Harper playing games. There's no universe where they're going to go on a run in October without Bryce Harper. If he's not playing, they're not winning. He's the centerpiece of this team. He's the centerpiece of the lineup. We go when he goes. We're lucky to even be in the position we're in right now, considering the first month and a half that he had this year, where his OPS was only like 720, 730. His presence in the lineup, even when he's struggling, makes a huge difference for everyone around him. And, he hasn't played the last week. He got hit by a baseball. It happens. They dropped 3 at home. They've lost 4 in a row, but they're only a game and a half back of the Mets. And like I said, you got a series coming up here with the Pirates, 6-game road trip, but they're going to have to go into like road warrior mode here in June, because not only do they have a bunch of road games this month, they only have 1 home stretch of more than 3 games. They have a 6-game home set and a 3-game home set. That's it. So you got a 6-game road trip. Then you come home for 6. Then you're back on the road for 4. Then you come home for 3, but you're right back on the road again for 6 after that. They're not going to settle down this month. There's going to be a lot of movement over the next month. Thankfully, they have the next 6 Thursdays off, so that could be helpful, getting the Thursday off every week. But they're going to be on the plane a lot this month. They're going to be playing away from One Citizens Bank Way a lot this month. And I would like to see them get a little bit gritty here. The staff is there, but go into road warrior mode. Let's win some series on the road. We've seen this team do this before, get things right on the road, and it's going to have to start in Toronto. Let's actually take a look at this pitching matchup that we have for tonight with the Phillies and the Blue Jays. In Toronto, you're going to have Christopher Sanchez against Bowden Francis. Bowden Francis on the mound for Toronto. See, this is why I have a hard time giving this team a hard time. The Toronto Blue Jays are currently 31-28, second in the AL East, and they have the 5.04 ERA Bowden Francis going in their bullpen. We are spoiled right now with this current Phillies pitching staff. It's like, oh, give Aaron Nola some time to get it together in the minors. Taijuan Walker's pitching good. What? What is going on? Right now, feels like I said, a game and a half back of the Mets in the NL East. We knew coming into the season that this was probably going to be a 3-team race, with there being some potential in that Washington Nationals team. The Nats have played pretty good. 28-31 right now. They're creeping their way up. James Wood is turning into a legitimate star. That dude's going to hit 35 homers this year, and it might be the beginning of like a 5-6 year run where that guy hits 300 homers. But the Braves are dealing with some injuries right now. A.J. Smith-Shawyer went down. They're in a tough spot. I hate to count anyone out, but this is most likely going to be a 2-dog race the rest of the way between the Phillies and the Mets for the division. Don't necessarily care about winning the division outside of just like having the bragging rights. We've seen in the NL playoffs over the last 3 or 4 years, it's almost an advantage to be the underdog that starts on the road. You just go win 1 road game out of the 2 to start the series, and suddenly you're in the driver's seat. So outside of bragging rights, I just want to see this team plug these holes and figure out the rest of this roster down the stretch going into September. The goal obviously is to win the division, but I don't care where we play the Mets. You got to step up. They're a good team. They're a very good team, but this Phillies pitching staff is where it all starts and finishes. We're going to have Mick Abel on the mound this series. I don't know what's going to happen at the deadline now, because the Mick Abel thing's sticky. He's almost pitching himself into, we kind of got to see what we got here maybe. But then again, I saw a mock trade online about potentially Aroldis Chapman and Jarren Duran being available from the Red Sox. Dombrowski ties. I don't know if that's just Twitter making stuff up, but I saw an interesting, it was Aroldis Chapman and Jared Duran, and I believe the package going back was Mick Abel, Justin Crawford, I think there was an Eduardo Tate thrown in there who I don't want to trade. But, I mean, if someone like Jarren Duran's available, you got to start, you probably got to move a name or two that you don't want to. But we'll see. More names. We've said this on the pod. There's going to be more and more names becoming available. Once you get into June and teams start really figuring out who they are, you're going to find out what teams are definitely going to be sellers at the deadline, and you can start talking about which guys could potentially be available. Some of the guys I liked coming into the year, and as we sit right now, aren't having their best seasons. Like Ryan Helsley's not having his best season. They might be able to go get a couple of high leverage guys, and it only cost you some mediocre prospects, just like the Carlos Estevez deals last summer. But all in all, a big week coming up. You got some extras for you guys before we send some things off. Aaron Escobar. I haven't talked about him too much. Last year in rookie ball, he had a 940 OPS. His first year in Clearwater right now, he's got a 960 OPS, and he is flying up the prospect rankings, not just for the Phils, but in the overall minor league rankings. So that's a name to keep an eye on. Last year, we seen Starling Caba fly up the rankings chart, and the next thing you know, we have Jesus Luzardo on our team. So keep an eye on that name, Escobar. Aiden Miller's kind of turned it around. He batted .211 in April. He's batting .290 in May with a .370 on base percentage. So he's turning it around. If you're going to a ball game, June 14th is Kyle Schwarber bobblehead night. Go ahead and check. I will be there. If you see me, poke me, say hi. I will be at Kyle Schwarber bobblehead night on June 14th. And last but not least, Ball and Play. If you haven't already tapped into Ball and Play, go to YouTube. If you're listening on YouTube, that makes it super easy. When I'm done yapping, you can close this video out. Warehouse Games on YouTube. Our Ball and Play tournament has started. Me, ex-Philly Trevor Plouffe, we are in there. BBD's on her. We have a nasty team, and the tournament is a ton of fun. Go check it out. Again, that's Warehouse Games. Ball and Play has begun. Check it out. If you guys are not already subscribed on YouTube, following us on Spotify, check us out on all streaming or podcast platforms, and follow us on Instagram and Twitter because we do daily Phillies content. We're starting to mix in football and some hockey going into the offseason. I'm wearing my Eagles jersey today. Saquon Barkley on the cover of Madden at the backwards hurdle. Saquon Barkley Madden cover. I'm excited to spend ridiculous amounts of money on accessories that I don't need, but I'm going to get them anyway. It's a big game in week. We have the Switch 2 coming out. We have a PlayStation Direct tomorrow. So there's going to be lots of gaming stuff coming out. If you're not already subscribed to my personal YouTube channel, Shelfy, I doubt you're here and you don't know who I am. I'm probably the reason you found this podcast. But anyway, Phil's got a big road trip coming up, and then they'll have 3 at home next week. Go Phils. We'll see you guys in the next one. They're going to be fine. Bryce Harper's not in the lineup. None of this stuff even counts.